Okay, just a very quick one this evening, just on the Dissident Right, of all things to talk about. And today, well, they have mostly been melting down about, I think, as far as I'm aware, British military top brass have made a statement saying that Russia poses a very real threat, and preparations should be made, so that, in the potentiality, Britain is prepared to meet that threat. And, this has caused them to do exactly what you'd expect them to do. Fucking elites hate us. Like, it's just so sullen, and it's just the reflex is just straight to the doom core, straight to the demoralisation. Now, we can question why that is. As I've alluded to many, many times, hostile foreign powers have a vested interest in keeping their enemy's population in a state of demoralisation. That's all the Dissident Right do. Put these two facts together, alongside the fact they've got donations open, alongside the fact they will never ever criticise Russia directly, it would seem. Certainly not, to the point of highlighting a war crime in Ukraine that Russia are carrying out on an almost daily basis for nearly 4 years. It's pretty fucking obvious what these people are. Certainly to my mind, and we'll just step over the rest of that, for the sake of brevity here. But, this is my conclusion to what they are. However, let's just try and, let's kick this around anyway. My basic, I have more than one gripe with them, but a major issue I have with them is they present as this bunch of organic Western nationalists that are kind of hive-minding to kind of kick around nationalism that might kind of, whatever. Well, I would say that they're trying to kick it around to solve questions, but they don't actually do anything positive ever. At all. They just make monetized content. That's all they do, because that's all they're interested in. Because they are demoralised. They're demoralised people, they're avaricious people, and in some cases they're duplicitous people, duplicitous liars. And they'll say that they're neutral, but they'll just, push Russian narratives for 3.5 fucking years. And then they'll try and roll off, and they'll try and memory hole it all. Well, fine. You'll probably be successful. Okay. It's not going to stop me fucking going on about it, though. So, whatever. Anyway, this is the thing, right? The Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022 actually was an opportunity for Western nationalists to actually mature. Because what you have in Ukraine, nationalism in Ukraine, is not just like some weird little clique somewhere. It is endemic. And nationalism in Ukraine is vital for everyone in Ukraine. It needs to exist. It has to exist. So even like the elite of Ukraine, which I know they'll all go, it's all Zelensky, and fucking spurg out with all the information laundering they've had, but it's not all Zelensky, and it's not all people like Zelensky. But these are people who have contracts. These are like, they're driven by money, they're driven by profit, the same as pretty much all oligarchs. But it just so happens that their interests correlate with Ukrainian nationalism, because without Ukrainian nationalism, their contracts would be long gone, and their assets would be stripped, and they would have fuck all, and they would be living in Switzerland or somewhere else, France, and they would have fuck all left. So at a certain point, it's like nationalism made itself useful, more than useful, vital for the nation, which is where it should be. Nationalism should be central to the defence of a nation. And so, like, even in an opportunity like this, is an opportunity to actually have soft power. Arguably, hard power ultimately, because you're going to have people in the fucking middle. Azov have got 13 fucking battalions in the field. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the Ukrainian army is really the most powerful army in Europe. Possibly. I don't know. Probably is. Probably at this particular moment in time, it's obviously tied up, in a particularly, vicious war. But you know what I mean? Still, if we're talking about veterans, if we're talking about militarily capable, cutting edge, using cutting edge technology, all the rest of it, and at the centre of it is Azov, and 13 battalions in the field, which, if you go and do Azov training, you get ideological training. This is essentially, it's ethno-nationalist. The ideology they get there. They get like lectures and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So these fucking soy-bearded, podgy, jowly losers that all seem addicted to fucking vapes. This is how fucking pathetic they are. They all smoke vapes. Morgoth smokes a vape. Fucking, you know, Wozy can only take the cocks out of his mouth long enough to fucking stick a vape in there. I mean, Parvini's always on the fucking cigars, like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. These are people, they're kind of just woeful people with no discipline. It's like, people that smoke vapes, it's like, okay, you wanted to give up cigarettes and you couldn't. Fucking losers, man. So, yeah, they will sit there and go, oh no, I'm going to write an essay about this next week, like, oh no. And fucking doom everyone out and depress everyone. Well, actually, that was the opportunity when European nationalists could have basically said, okay, we see this, there's an external threat. When there's an external threat, we can actually leverage more power within our system. But no, let's just go against everything and sit in, like, you know, the little periphery and just fucking get low-hanging fruit from donations from the foreign power that's invading Europe instead. And or, like, wear people down, demoralise them, offer them a facsimile of friendship and dopamine clicks, and then just try and get money out of them and leech off them like millennial woes and grift off them. You know, these were the two paths open. But, you know, I mean, as I say, I kind of think it's all after the Lord Mayor's show, because I think the Dissident Right long ago, you know, the plan was being afoot for many, many years from Russia. You know, they softened up these Western, you know, quote unquote nationalists long ago. That's why people like Selner have been central to everything for, you know, years. Probably the Bagman, he's probably at the centre of it, and there's many, many others. These little businessmen floating around on the peripheries, advisor companies, you know, they get around these people. Where do they get their money? This is how it works. It works from proxies, you know what I mean? So I don't really think they were ever in any position to do something like this, because they were bought and fucking sold years ago. But if you want to maintain the illusion that they weren't, then you have to say they completely missed this opportunity to actually, okay, nationalism can become useful again. And it can become something which isn't deemed like, you know, unsayable. But no, scurry off on the internet, monetize, depress people, and get money from hostile foreign powers instead. And, you know, that's what they're doing today. Well, no Russian called me a gammon. I mean, he's not actually said that, but, you know, it's the same. It's the same tone for everything. Call and response. Who is the bigger threat to you, to the real Anglo-Celtic people of Britain? You know, 96% say Starmer. Well, it's just you wait till fucking you get invaded. You know what I mean? None of them talk about fucking Butcher, do they? None of them talk about Mariupol. To them it unexists. They just, oh no, not interested. Well, this doesn't stop them fucking happening. These are war crimes. These are war crimes committed against a people who speak the same fucking language as them, who kind of look like their family back home in large part, except for the Burats and the Chechens. You know, so how do you think in the future? It's like that fucking bell-end Alistair Williams. It's just some prat, isn't he, on the Delling pole, one of his likely lads. He's sitting there going, oh, if the Russians invaded, I'd wave them in down the street. I'd wave them in. Well, you're a fucking moron then. I mean, I don't know if you're saying that it's hyperbolic or whatever, but you don't understand reality. Oh, no, but I'm a base Christian. And I'll say, oh, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Saviour too, guys. I'm a base Christian, and I know that reptilians and the elite bloodlines, the Babylonian Brotherhood, guys, yeah. No, they'll just rape your fucking daughter, and they'll rape your fucking wife, and they'll fucking smash you in the fucking head and force you to watch it, and then they'll cut your throat. And if you think that's harsh, that's the sort of shit they do. That's the sort of thing they literally do. So, you know what I mean? Your fucking smug little tap dance for dopamine on the internet, or in some cases, donation, you know, hats off to it. But it's against reality, and it's biologically unfit in every which way. You can have more than one threat facing you at any one point. They can't seem to understand that, and they just go, oh no, it's not as bad as this threat, oh no, so it's fine, like. And again, it all just comes down to Bezmenov. Bezmenov called it. I mean, it's not just him, is it? But the KGB fucking called it, because they basically invented it, and they're still doing it. It's the same tactic today. You know, subversion is the highest art of, you know, warfare. To subvert your enemy population and they won't see you as a threat. And that is exactly what is exhibited in the Dissident Right, and that is because they're demoralised, and I just think they're control. So, there you go. Bit of a rant. Have a good evening. Okay, just a very quick one. Just out and about today. I just thought I'd just bang this out on Twitter. I have to be under 90 seconds. But, again, this is just highlighting actual nationalists, actual people that take action, defend their people, as opposed to the fucking LARPers on the internet, the grifters, the propagandists, the liars. And these people were all smeared by the Dissident Right. These people were all, propagandized against. And these people's sacrifice in liberating Bucha, which is what they did, has been, the Dissident Right, these people, they've slandered it. They haven't mentioned it. They've ignored it. And all their crimes, it's a scandalous fucking thing, really. They unexist the Bucha massacre, which these people took vengeance on, drove the fucking perpetrators of that massacre out of the region. They unexisted it. Even in some cases, they then went to say that it didn't happen and it was all some sort of fucking feigned retreat. No, it wasn't. Because these people paid the fucking sacrifice. Because these are people with standards, with morals, with fucking backbone. And these are people who go down and will be remembered as heroes, not fucking online grifters, liars, manipulators, and propagandists. There you go.